Well, this is Ray and his boy Jamie out here at this big old tree. And we're going to tackle this tree. This might be my last time you ever see me moving around like I'm supposed to. But we're going to tackle this tree. We're going to whoop this tree. This tree ain't nothing to us and the crew. We're going to knock it out. I'm signing off.
There it goes. Woo! Damn. That's it.
Okay, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. It's Thursday morning, and yeah, we are. Well, me. You know, it's just me. I'm okay with that this time of year. You know, Bo's in rehab. Zach moved, so it looks like I'll be starting from scratch next year, man. I don't really know exactly what I'm gonna do, but just one day at a time, making money each and every day, and you know, can't get too caught up in what I don't have. I will plan accordingly as we get, you know, through the winter, and I'll figure out, you know, exactly how I'm going to do next year. I'm definitely going to have to hire somebody, at least a part-timer or something. I got a couple of folks that I can reach out to. So, but there's no sense in doing that right now because, well, I mean, well, they work one day, 2 days, and then they don't work for a week, and then they, you know, I don't really have enough work, you know, in the wintertime to justify a full-time guy. Though if I had a good guy that was really, you know, stable, then I would keep a guy on all winter, and I'd get, you know, I'd make sure he got enough money to you know, pay his bills and stuff, I guess. But you know, I mean, it is what it is, man. So I had a couple guys ask me, you know, I guess they're newer to the channel, you know, wanted me to talk about, you know, how I got started and, you know, and all that, you know. Well, I didn't get started in this game because this is what I chose to do or anything. I got started in this game because, well, I got laid off my job. You know, I worked in an office. You know, of course I'm a country boy, but I worked in an office I used to do civil design drawings. I was basically a CAD drafter, and you know, we would do neighborhoods and stuff. Basically, I did the drawings for, like, you know, where's the water gonna go when it rains, pretty much. So that was my job, and to maintain the server and everything. So in 2008, when the market crashed, I had to get out. I mean, I got laid off. I mean, there was no work. It was so bad that the owner of the business that I worked for, the engineer, he was paying me to paint the office and everything. He was hoping that, you know, the market would rebound, but it never did. He ended up going belly up, but he was okay with it because he was semi-retired then, you know, and he had, you know, been a civil engineer for 35 years, 40 years. So he, you know, he done made his bread, and yeah, so that's what got me started. I didn't just wake up one day and say, oh, I think I'm gonna cut grass for a living. You know, everything that I've done, and I got videos. If you look back in some of the older videos where I've, you know, first started and everything, I look back on some of that stuff now and I'm like, man, what a journey, right? So that's pretty much how I got started. Basically what I did is at first well, I mean, I started off very little. I was just trying to stay busy and, you know, make money. And I was already cutting a few yards before I lost my job. You know, I had an old red Ruby pickup truck. I didn't have no trailer or nothing, man. I had a John Deere tractor mower. I would drive up into the back of the pickup truck. You know, oh my God, so sketchy. So then, that's how I got started, you know. And I didn't know anything about, you know, warm weather grass, cold weather grass. You know, I thought all green was grass. So I didn't know anything. Now I had done tree work before, trimming trees, and I even climbed trees there for a while when I was, you know, in my early 20s. So I was a lot more comfortable doing tree trimming and stuff in the very beginning than I was, you know, mowing grass and stuff, because I didn't know anything about mowing grass. I didn't know anything about nothing. You know, I didn't know what kind of equipment to buy. I didn't know anything. So yeah. But that's pretty much how I got started. It was a necessity. But when I got laid off my job, they were letting me get unemployment. You know, I was getting unemployment like everybody was back then. And unemployment back then, I was getting like $350 a week. Once I had paid in, you know, yeah. So a lot of people would have, you know, rolled out, man. But see, I wasn't built like that. That's how come I knew that I was destined for something else. Because when I was getting unemployment, I was out cutting grass and stuff. You know, doing anything that I could do to to stay busy. You know, I didn't think that I'd be doing this as long as I have been, but you know, it is what it is, man. But if you look at some of the video, I'll try to find some pictures and stuff. I don't have a lot of video from back in the day, but I got a lot of pictures. I got some video. One thing I learned right off the muscle is getting the right equipment for what you're doing, right? As far as mowers go. Now, I didn't know anything about, you know, mini X's, skid steers, or none of that. I didn't know anything about lawnmowers either. But I went to Home Depot, filled out a credit card thing. They gave me $500, and I took another $500 or $600 out of my account, and I bought a tractor mower. That was, you know, and I thought I was big shit then, man. I thought I had done hit the lottery. Because I'd go out and I'd make about $200 a day, $250 a day. I thought it was, woo. And if I hit $400 a day, man, you know, gross, I was freaking balling, right? If I did 5 yards a day, that was great. Now, I never really, you know, marketed a lot at all. Not at all. I never did you know, door hangers or nothing like that. I did have, well, my wife and I went out into some of the neighborhoods and, you know, did door hangers one time, and it was a huge waste of resources. Huge. We spent 2 days doing that, and I don't think I got 2 customers out of it. I don't even know if I got 1. I don't remember, but it wasn't much. All my work these days comes from word of mouth. Of course, you know, if you don't advertise, you're probably not going to scale up very quick either. But sometimes scaling up too quick, I think, is a bad thing, because you're not ready for it, you know. See, I thought, you know, and I started my business, I was 35 years old when I started my business. So I started late, man, you know, because once the man laid me off, I knew I wasn't going to be able to go back and work for the man no more, because it was too unpredictable. And to me, working for the man is just as unpredictable as working for myself. It's even more so, because working for the man, you know, I'm not running nothing. So, work for the man, they don't always have your best interest at heart. And at any given moment, I realized that I could lose my job and have nothing. That's what happened, you know. I had just bought a house, just got married, blah, 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 you know. So, it was a scary time for me, but I don't remember being real scared of anything. I just remember doing the next logical thing, right? Like, you know, just hustling, man, you know, just, I don't know. I'd haul debris off for people. I would, and then once I started, you know, doing the lawn care, I realized how seasonal it was. And I'm like, oh my God, the wintertime's coming. So then I had to be super savvy with my money. You know, I'd pay my mortgage through the summer. I would pay my mortgage all the way up to like February or March of the next year, you know. Because I wasn't nearly as disciplined with money then as I am now. And you got to recognize that, so you do what you're supposed to do with your money. I didn't want to, you know, roll around in October and November and having to make, you know, $1,200 mortgage payment. So what I ended up doing was, back then, this is like, you know, 2009, 10, 11, all the way up like 2015 or 16, the first 8 or 9, 10 years, I would do firewood. Like this time of year, oh my God, I'd be knee deep in the firewood. That's what I bought the dump trailer for. You know, the dump trailer really enabled me to do firewood, and that was the only reason I bought it, because it would hold exactly a cord. I was selling a cord for like $300. And I was getting wood from a big property that I was doing, where the owner told me I could get all the down trees that I wanted. And I got videos talking about all this, maybe not in one video, but over the course of some videos. I was doing work on a 450-acre farm, and I was just getting trees from everywhere. Everywhere I looked, I was getting, you know, trees and stuff. And what I would also do is that people would have trees, you know, dropped or whatever, and then they would say, hey, you come get these trees, you can have them. And I did a little bit of that too. Also, another thing that I did, well, the most important thing that I did back then is I nurtured what little relationships I had back then, right? I didn't have the relationships with customers that I have now. I didn't have as many customers, of course, and I didn't know exactly what I was doing. You know, I just knew that I needed to keep going that way, right? And a lot of things just worked themselves out, you know, as long as I was able to pay my bills and not fall behind on everything, then I had time to build a business. Of course, getting the unemployment was critical in that scenario, because I basically used the unemployment to pay all my bills while I was figuring out, okay, how am I gonna do this lawn care thing, you know? I didn't know. But once I realized that, oh hell, I can make a living at this, man. I can actually excel, right? Once I realized that, then the rest is kind of common sense, right? I mean, the rest was like, okay, you can go out here and you can make, you know, $250 a day, and you don't have the expenses. Now, of course, these days I got to make more than that, but I don't have to work as hard to make more than that, if that makes sense. Because one thing that I learned, and some people might agree with this and some people might not, one of the most important things that I learned in the very beginning, in the first 5 years, is that retaining the customers is critical from year to year. So that's what I did, pretty much. It's muddy as hell over here. I learned real quick in the very beginning that equipment is everything, right? I thought that, you know, when I was 35 or so, I said, shoot, I can hire guys, Even back then, I was hiring kids in the neighborhood to help me out. You know, even back then, you know, they'd come out and I'd give them, you know, $30 or $40 to come help me. You know, they'd weed eat or whatever. And the kids, and some of the kids, they loved it. You know. I'm gonna have to get. I'm gonna have to get. Yeah, I don't even. Dude, this is ugly right here, man. If I'd have known it was this wet, I wouldn't even brought the skid steer over here, man. I'll kick back, man. Yeah, it's really muddy over here, y'all. Look. Yeah. I'm gonna have to, man, I'm gonna be tearing the ground all up out here, man. You know, it's real muddy, man. So, look at that, man. Oh my God. I'm not even gonna try to get myself out with a skid steer on. I mean, the skid steer can pull the truck on up the hill. I need to get the truck up there. See, right here is where the wash is. So, the ground is really wet. If I'd have known it was this wet, I wouldn't even have come over here. So I got the machine unhooked and everything. So let's drop the ramps and let's try to see what we can do here. But yeah, that was one of the first things that I learned, y'all, when I first started, was the equipment and overcoming the price of the equipment. Another thing too that a lot of people don't talk about is, well, when you realize that, once you realize this is your bread and butter and this is what you're going to be doing for the foreseeable future, and that you can actually make a living at it, at that point is when I started buying top equipment. Even if it was uncomfortable, you know, financially, I never, you know, once I got the taste of a top quality mower, and I like the Exmark mowers, but you know, some people like Skag, some people like Walker, some people like, you know, Ferris, and a plethora of others, you know. But once I bought that first, back then, you know, top mower at $13,000, once I bought that, then I never looked back after that, because that first mower, and I still got it, it's the one that surges, that first 60-inch Exmark Laser Z X Series with the Kohler engine on it, I have been in business probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years before I even bought the first big boy mower. Now, I did have another Exmark that was it was a Quest SP. It was a commercial, but it was a lower end commercial. The Exmark Laser Z is their high end commercial mowers Exmark makes. So once I bought that mower, then I realized, hey, this is where it's at. So then it was just about, you know, keeping the mower busy. Sort of like the same thing I'm going through now with skid steer. You know, when the first mowers I bought were, you know, tractor mowers and you know, homeowner type mowers that I bought. You know, even the first zero turn I bought was a Toro Time Saver, and it was sure enough a time saver compared to the tractor mowers. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in you know, stepping up as you go. Most people, not everybody, but most people don't start out with equipment like what I got. Why would you? You know, because if you start out with this, that means you done, you know, invested heavily, and you're not even sure what your exact customer base is. You know, I always, and it's just my opinion, and I do have a disclaimer, I always am of the mindset, okay, let me try this and see if it's something that I can make money at. You know, And as far as, you know, the mowers go, I realized real quick that if I can make money with that Toro Time Saver, that I could really make a lot more money if I had a top-notch commercial mower. I wanted to be able to take the beating that they need to be able to take. You know, on the tractor mowers, I went through the John Deere tractor mowers. I spent a couple of years going through them when in the very beginning, when, well, I was like, oh my God, you know, $8,000 for a good commercial mower. I think I was looking at a Skag or something, and I knew nothing about lawn mowers. I had to make it my business to learn about equipment. I had to, just like you would learn about, you know, what types of grass there is, what types of bushes there are. You know, you have to learn about equipment too, and know what to buy and what not to buy. So one of the ways that I learned about equipment was back when I started, I didn't have enough, you know, I didn't have as much work as I got now, and I didn't have anything going on in the wintertime other than a little firewood here and there, you know. But, you know, some winters, man, I would make, you know, $6,000-7,000 doing firewood. But I don't know what it cost me, because it was a lot of, well, survival mode is kind of chaotic. It was. But there was a time that I would flip mowers too. And I bought, I remember I bought a storage bin, somebody's storage bin, you know, and ended up, there was 2 lawnmowers in there. Rest of the stuff in there was junk, but I think I paid like $1,500 or whatever. And I was always doing stuff like that. Find a mower that needed work, and then I would get the mower, and then I would, you know, learn how to fix stuff. And that's one of the things that I brought with me all along the way, is the ability to be able to fix a lot of my own stuff. Not that I'm any smarter than you guys, but I just put great emphasis on being able to fix stuff, because the ability to fix stuff can keep you in business or not. If you can't fix anything, especially in the beginning, and you don't know how to fix anything, and you're not willing to sit down and try to figure it out, then you're going to have a lot more problems than a guy like me. Because a guy like me, I can buy the junkiest lawnmower on Facebook they got, you know, commercial mower, and I could probably figure out how to fix it to where I can make money with it. And that's what I did for a few years. I'd buy mowers that were all messed up. Really thinking back on, they were just pieces of junk. And I would buy pieces of junk, you know, walk behind mowers, and you know, old 15-year-old commercial zero turns, and it didn't really matter the name, because I didn't know anything about any of them anyway. But that's one of the ways that I learned about equipment, is I learned, okay, I don't really like the Skag mower, or I don't really like the Exmark mower, or whatever. You know, I learned real quick that what equipment that I needed. So once I bought that first 60-inch mower, y'all, it was on and popping then. Then I was just trying to keep it busy, right? Because it was nothing, you know, to do the yards that I was doing with the tractor mowers and the homeowner zero turns. I was doing them properties in, you know, if it was taking me an hour with you know, a homeowner zero turn and a commercial tractor mower, if it was taking me an hour to do a property that way, I was doing it in 15-20 minutes with one Laser Z 60-inch, and you know, and it wasn't even taxing the mower or nothing. I was able to make a lot better time. So then after I got the first expensive big boy mower, that's when I realized, oh my God, they are worth it. They are you know, big time savers, because that is what, you know, contrary to what anybody thinks, you know, your time is all you have, right? And how you spend your time dictates what kind of life you're gonna have, if you ask me. Now, people that you'll find that people that ain't got nothing, that are struggling, that are this or that, do not manage their time well. Just in general, whether they got a 9 to 5 or they ain't got a job at all or whatever, you know. And then once you're able to start seeing that man, if you did it like this or you did it like that, then you could save 20 minutes here, 15 minutes there, you know, blah blah blah. So the ability to save time on each individual job that you're doing, and these are for the guys that are starting out, you got to be able to save time. And the best way, I think, to make the best time is by top equipment. That's, you know, because then it saves you in all kinds of ways. Number one, you can do the property that was taking you an hour, you could do it in a quarter of the time. Now you're on that property making the same money in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Number two, the longevity of the mowers after you can get over the you know, the initial purchase price is 10 times that of a homeowner mower. So then you realize, oh man, it was taking, you know, I would go out and do the same yards that I was, you know, with the Lazer Z X Series. I would go out and do those same yards, you know, with that mower, and like, you know, 6 yards or whatever, and I was getting done at like 10:30 in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, damn, how did I get done that fast? When normally it would take me to 2 o'clock or so with the other mowers. I don't know, man, that's just, you know, some of the stuff that you get into, man, out here that you got to know. And timing too is a big deal. The timing of when you buy a lawnmower is a big deal. Now, at first, what you're going to do is you're going to just use anything, because you got to get a bead on what kind of demographic you have, what kind of area you're in. Are the properties big or little? Are you chasing big properties or little properties? What do you know? I kept getting the great big properties, you know, the 3 acres, 5 acres, 10 acres. Hell, I had one job that was 50 acres, but they didn't want to pay. I did it a few times, but they really didn't want to pay like I was supposed to get paid. So I ended up giving that one up because they didn't want to pay. We'd be out there with 4 big 0 turns out there. It'd take us 2 days with 4 people working, and you know, they didn't even want to pay $3,000. I was like, no. And also in the beginning, you got to take on all work, man, all work, and then if you don't make as much money on this or that, or sometimes I wouldn't make any money, you know, of course that defeats the whole purpose of working for yourself and everything. But at the end of the day, you learn too, and then you learn what jobs not to do. So we'll learn what jobs are the most profitable, you know, what jobs you can get away with and make money, and then you learn a little bit about customers each time too. You know, you got to learn people too, man. That's a big part of it as well. But I'm back over here, man. I'm gonna back this dump trailer up in the bin right here, and I'm gonna leave the dump trailer under the bin. So